it's MaCenna and welcome back to my channel. So like 2 weeks ago, I asked you guys which macrame project you would most like to see. A piece of wall art using kind of like different size and different textured yarns, a pendant light, a handbag, or macrame planners that you hang from the ceiling. So based on your comments, your favorite one was the pendant macrame hanging. So that's what we're gonna do today. So I'm going to be using two different macrame knotting techniques, the lark's head knot and the double half hitch knot. If you want to incorporate any other types of knots in your macrame design, you absolutely can. I have 3 other macrame videos on my channel, 2 for wall art and 1 for a macrame pillow, where I show you guys how to make a variety of different knotting techniques that you can incorporate into your own design. So you can be incredibly creative and unique with this. I'm actually going to show you how to replicate this one from Anthropologie. This Anthropologie pendant light is almost $400, but I'm going to show you guys how to make it for $40 and about an entire day of knotting the macrame, but so worth it. So let's get started. So what you're gonna need for this DIY is a floral hoop in the size and diameter that you actually want your pendant light to be. I have 2 different sized hoops here, one in a 14-inch and one in a 19-inch. For the purpose of this tutorial, to show you guys how to do this, I'm actually gonna be using the smaller hoop, the 14-inch. Also, what you're gonna need is 4mm macrame yarn, gold stick-like beads, and they match our inspiration, and they are 4mm as well, so our yarn can go right in the center. I'll show you guys a trick on how to get these beads actually on your macrame yarn. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, and then to apply our beads, you're going to need just some floral wire. So the first step in this project is to cut all of our macrame yarn to the correct length. So I'm gonna throw some math at you guys, but stay with me. So our floral ring is 14 inches in diameter, so from side to side. That means that the circumference of our ring is 44 inches. Our lark's head knot takes up 3/8 of an inch. The math is the 44-inch circumference times 8 brings it to the 1/8 of an inch that we need to calculate our actual measurement. 3, because it takes up 3/8 of an inch for each lark's head knot, came to 117, which means we need to cut 117 pieces of yarn to make up and fill out the circumference of this ring. But since 117 is a little weird, I'm gonna squeeze in 120. So we're gonna be cutting 120 strands of macrame yarn. Okay, so that's the width. Now for the length, so hanging down from the top of our pendant to the bottom of our pendant, I wanted it to finish longer than it is wide. So since this is 14 inches wide, I kind of estimated and kind of looked at a measuring tape, and I think I want it to measure 20 inches long when it's completely finished. So if I want it 20 inches long, I'm gonna add 5 inches for design purposes, because we're gonna be knotting a lot of this yarn, so it's going to make it a little shorter. So 20 plus 5 brings us to 25. And then with every macrame project that you use a lark's head, you actually need to double the length of your yarn because you're looping it at the top. That means that we need each strand 50 inches long. So we need 120 strands of macrame, each measuring 50 inches long. I hope all of that made sense. I will leave all of these formulas in the drop down below. Okay, let's get started. We are going to be putting all of the macrame onto our floral ring. Take one of your strands, match up the ends at the bottom to make a loop at the top. Loop over the top of your floral rim, and then put the 2 ends and strands through the loop. Pull your strands all the way through and pull tight. And this creates the lark's head knot. And we're just gonna do this all the way around the circumference of our rim until we've put all 120 pieces of our yarn onto our rim. So for this design, we're gonna be working in 10 strand sections. So what I want you to do is separate out 10 strands, and this is gonna be the right and the left side of our arrow. So it's going to start from up here at the top on each side and then go down to a point in the center. So you're gonna be using a double half hitch knot to create this arrow design. And what I want you to do is start on your right hand side, taking the far right strand and pull it across the other strands in that section, taking the last string and tying a loose knot. This is gonna become your anchor strand because we don't wanna get confused because this strand is actually never going to move. It's gonna stay stationary and we're going to wrap all of the other strands in this section over the top of that one. So this is the easiest way for me to wrap my head around this type of knot. It's worked really well for me, so I hope it works for you too. So what you're gonna do is take the second strand underneath your anchor strand and you're going to go under, over, and through, creating the first part of a double half hitch. You can see that it creates a little loop right on top of the strand, and then pull tight all the way up to the top. You're gonna do that once more, under, over, and through, and pull tight. So now you're done with this strand. The next strand, under, over, and through, and pull tight and nestle this loop right up to the rest of them. Doing it once more with the same strand, under, over, and through, and pull tight. As the knots sit next to each other, they're naturally gonna have a downward shape, so they're going to go down to a point naturally. Once you reach your last strand where you have your anchor knot loosely tied, just untie the knot and do the same thing with your final strand. Voila! Now you've finished your right side of your design and your lark's head knot. So now switching over to the left side, we're gonna be doing the same thing, but opposite. It's gonna start on this side up top, on the very far left, and then go down to the point in the center. So once you've reached the center, we are going to be attaching these two strands together, also using the double half hitch knot. Voila! So now we have the start of our design. You're just gonna repeat these steps all the way around the circumference of your ring, and then we're gonna get started on the next phase of our design. So once you have your first row of your double half hitch knot design in place, it's gonna look something just like this, and then we're gonna continue our designs. We're gonna do another row of the double half hitch knot underneath the row that we already did. I'm gonna show you guys on one section exactly what the design will look like all the way around so that you guys can start on your own pattern. Okay, so here is the final design of the macrame that I have settled on. It's going to be a row of 3 and then a row of 2 all the way around this macrame. So I'm just gonna continue with this pattern and then we're gonna start on the final touches on the bottom. So once you complete your design, it's gonna look a little something like this. And this took me, not gonna lie, about 6 to 7 hours to complete all of the design all the way around. Now we are gonna be working on the end part. So we're gonna be adding these gold beads to the bottom and then creating a little tassel at the bottom. The first thing that I'm gonna do is actually trim the bottom strands to go in an arrow following the same pattern. Okay, next, in order to put the beads actually on the strand, I'm gonna use this floral wire and just cut a piece, just like so. Cut a piece about 8 inches long and loop it on one side, and then you'll have the ends on the other. It's gonna act as an anchor to pull the yarn through each of these gold beads. So how we're gonna do it, so I have 100 of these beads, so we're just going to put about 8 of them on each section. Simply take your wire, grab your strand, place your strand right into the loop side of your wire so it acts as an anchor. Then with your other ends, slide the bead onto the wire and then pull the yarn through the bead. And pull the wire off. Voila! And then to finish off this design, we're just going to make a knot in the yarn, about 1.5 inches little tassel on the end. And then similar to what we did in the macrame pillow, I'm gonna use my dog's brush and brush out the yarn pieces to separate them out, so it looks like fringe. We're just gonna repeat that until all of the pieces and all of our beads are on our macrame pendant. So the final step is to either put your pendant light down in the center and attach some yarn to tie it into place, or just simply create a yarn hook so that you can hang it up. If you follow this tutorial, you can make your very own macrame pendant for your home, and you can get as creative with the knotting techniques as you want and make it incredibly unique to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this macrame tutorial, and if you did, definitely hit the like button below and comment down below if you're going to be making one of these for your own home. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with and how creative you guys are, and I post new videos every week. It could be tutorials, redoing a part of my house, or anything in between, so definitely hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow along, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys!